Good morning and welcome to At Home with Roby. I'm Patrick McIsaac, president of Roby Electric, along with Trent Haston, president and CEO of the Roby family of companies. We are your hosts. Welcome to Sunday morning, Trent, Super Bowl Sunday.
So, Patrick, I got a bone to pick with you.
Bring it.
So I'm hanging out with some of my old school buddies this past weekend, and they talking about the radio show that we do, and then they started talking about you, and truly, one of my very best friends, we call him West Side, Scott Trotter said that,
I had a record
you
by
sounded like you were your voice was bought and made for radio. He was particularly talking about your commercials on Sports 610.
Well, I do have a face for radio, not TV. I think that we could, but I didn't buy anything.
I mean, all I took from what he was telling me and the great compliment he was giving you and giving the Roby family of companies was that you were showing me up, and it was an ego thing. That's what I took away from that.
From a guy named Westside.
He's a smooth talker too.
Now he is a smooth talker. No. He's on my call list.
Are y'all in bed together?
He's on my call. He's on my call list. Now he's been in this business before. He's a former supplier. Yeah, I know.
He was
the
first
guy.
thing we ever had with him and Mouse at Roby Electric.
Man, that's a blast from the past.
Man,
it's a good dynamic duo right there. Well, Trent, let's get back on topic here.
If y'all ever heard about Bright Road, that's the Bright Road's best.
Yeah. I think that was after many fireworks and maybe a couple of Christmas trees went down that night too. But no, Trent, we've got a big show. Super Bowl Sunday. We got Deems May in here. Carolina football.
Yep.
San Diego Chargers. I think he finished his career in Seattle. I'm excited to hear what he has to say. I mean, it's kind of cool to have a Super Bowl alumni in here for Super Bowl Sunday.
And Deems still does some things with
Carolina.
the Tar Heels, right?
I think so. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, I know he's up there during football season. He's up there almost every weekend. So.
I think he does some sideline stuff.
Okay. Yeah. That's great.
But he played back with, was it like Natron Means era? I know he'll talk to us about this.
Didn't he say something to you earlier about how Dabo was a complete amateur cheerleader?
I think he said that in a respectful way.
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay.
He said that his exact words was, I think all that guy knows how to do is jump up and down on the sideline. I said, well, now it might be a little harder for him to jump, Deems, because he's wearing a giant ring on his finger.
Oh, wow. Got some bling on his ring.
I got real scared and ducked down because Deems is a large human, and he probably could, he if he wanted to, he could probably inflict some bodily harm. But, no, he's a great guy. In fact, Deems, I ran into Deems at church. He goes to the same church as I do.
Wow.
We had a dinner at our church, and in walks Deems. I think he actually got married at our church, so he's been there longer than I have. But great guy, man.
Well, let's talk about it. We're a month in to the year. We're in February. That's amazing. How's business starting out? What do you think about the business environment here in Charlotte and the Carolinas?
I think the business environment is great, Trent. I think you could agree to that. Roby Electric specifically, something that we're really trying to push, a rock, if you will.
One of our books for next week.
Correct. Is the commercial world. I mean, it's something that we're really trying to get into, from commercial property management, industrial facilities, things of that nature. So if you're a listener out there and you need quality electrical services, we don't really plug this that often, but that's what we're after this year is the folks that manage commercial space. We're investing in some new equipment that can help us really be a major player in that market. I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, the whole philosophy is the same service, right? We're just bolting on some additional offerings.
So you're getting into bucket truck business? Is that what you're telling me?
That's what we're trying to do, man. Yeah.
So parking lot lights, billboard lights, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's sort of some residual business in that space that we would love to be able to have the opportunity to help people with.
I hear you. That's a rock.
That is a rock.
Yeah, and I just want to say, everybody knows out there, if you listen to our show regularly, I'm a big advocate for the West Side, and we're about coming up on about a 2-year anniversary for Roby Realty, and our business offices are based on West Moorhead Street, and Roby Realty actually just moved over on Greenwood Cliff near the Metropolitan in the Midtown, where our original office was forever on Harding Place.
Changing.
In a little house. But what it's really done and what I've been spending a lot of my time is studying the airport, studying the future light rail locations, which I think eventually will go out to the airport, studying this corridor, the West Charlotte to the river. You know, you have the new river development that Dean's buddy Johnny Harris and their firm is working on. And then you have the Tanger outlet mall and all that stuff. And so I just think there's a lot of hot items going on in the construction, development, real estate world in this corridor, all the way out from where we're sitting today on West Moorhead, all the way out to Belmont past the airport and the rail depot. So it's been fun to learn about, and coming up in a couple weeks, man, maybe we can do a whole show on this corridor and just talk about where we think it's headed and what's going on with it.
Well, we need to reach out and see if Mr. Harris would be willing to come on the show. I mean, I think that would be awesome to hear his perspective on what's going on at the River District.
Well, maybe if everything goes good with Deems over the next hour, then maybe he can ask his good buddy and his mentor, Mr. Harris, to come on the show.
That would be cool. I mean, I think there's a lot of synergies with what they're trying to do and some of the stuff that you're talking about. I mean, if you listen to our show with Rob from Mecca, I mean, it's the last artery into the city, and it's so funny. You tell that to people, right? Even in some of the people in the development world, and they're like, I haven't been down Wilkinson Boulevard in a while. And you kind of challenge them. I know I do it. Well, go ride down to the airport and back, and then call me. And it's like they just seen something they haven't seen in 10, 15 years.
It's
like,
fun,
right.
and I hope that I'm able, with the Roby family of companies and with my, I like to say I'm a good bird dog, and with also with my vision and leadership, I hope that our firm and our leaders and myself is able to put an impression on this side of town. So
I think we can. Folks, you're listening to At Home with Roby. When we come back, we'll have Deems May in the studio. Thanks for listening. We'll be right back.